Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to our 5 and 15 webinar series. This webinar will cover ways to maximize your marketing automation investment. My name is Melissa Andresen, and I am the social media manager here at MasterSolve, and I will be your moderator for this webinar. So before we get started, I would like to go through some logistics to make sure that everyone is able to ask questions and get feedback on this presentation. You should see on the control panel the raise your hand button, and this is used to get the attention of the presenter. Because we have a larger audience today, we ask that rather than raising your hand, you instead submit any questions using the chat facility. We will then compile them and then address at the end of the presentation. We will also be sending up a follow-up email and a link to a recording of this webinar. Joining me today are Stephen Lavoie and DeAndre Davis-Taylor from MasterSolve, and we will be discussing ways to maximize your marketing automation investment. So Stephen, I'll pass it over to you to tell us a little bit about MasterSolve.
Excellent, thanks Melissa. MasterSolve is a business and strategy consulting firm with a purpose to take business relationships to the next level by aligning people, processes, and technology. There are 5 principles that guide our organization, and they are these: be reliable. We only promise what we can deliver and deliver what we promise. Be relentless. We are passionate about continuous improvement. We encourage our team to be goal-oriented. Always begin with the end in mind. We strive to be customer-centric, obsessed with building positive relationships through outstanding interactions, and we strive to be trustworthy, open, authentic, and respectful. We have offices in Toronto, Montreal, and St. Louis, and our customers are located across North America in a variety of different industries. Their revenues range from startups to Fortune 500 companies. Melissa, why don't I pass it back to you to kick off the first challenge of what we're going to discuss today?
Sure. So the first way to maximize your marketing automation investment is to make sure that your marketing campaigns are structured from the outset, but don't try to do everything at once. Stephen, could you explain how someone could start this process?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to want to start with the basics and build upon that over time as your audience expands. Even if it's just the basics, you should start seeing a return on investment in no time. If you're not getting, investment back from your marketing automation solution, this is what you're going to want to do. So for optimum success, make sure you have all of the important pieces of your campaign nailed down before you invest any additional time and effort. Things like white papers or videos, make sure those are complete before going into building anything else, because those parts are critical. Things like your goals and how they'll be tracked, your budget, and even who you're trying to reach and influence should be clearly defined.
All right, very true. So if these key aspects of the campaign are not planned out to some degree in advance, they will not perform optimally. To continue, the second way to maximize your marketing automation investment is to make sure that you optimize everything. You need to optimize every single stage of your campaign. So think about your data, your processes, and your messaging. Stephen, could you speak more to this point?
Yeah, if your data or your processes and your messaging are weak, they're not going to engage your audience as well as they could. And they're not going to move them along the sales funnel, which means that your leads aren't going to be as strong as they can be. So we suggest that you do a few things. One, pick your best or your favorite campaign, start with it. In that campaign, define the marketing campaign process. From beginning to end, what do you want to accomplish with that? Examine what is working and what needs to be fixed, and fix those things that need to be fixed, of course. And then cleanse, review, and amend the data. After that, rinse and repeat. Follow these simple processes all the way through, then go to the next campaign and do this through, and you'll start to see that your campaigns are starting to get optimized, and you're going to be able to get more and more out of your return on investment.
Great. So the third way to get the most out of your marketing automation is to make sure that your sales and marketing teams are working together. So Stephen, could you explain how important sales and marketing being on the same pages when it comes to marketing automation?
Yeah, your sales and marketing departments need to be collaborating with each other in order for you to determine whether or not the content that you're creating for your customers, as well as the parameters for lead and nurture scoring, are actually hitting the mark. By doing this, you're able to collaborate with your sales team and find out maybe content that customers are asking for, or different requests that keep coming up and over and over and over again that you can capitalize on, and then return back to sales and see how they're making use of the content and things that you're creating. We encourage weekly, if not monthly, meetings with sales and marketing teams to start strong collaboration together.
Okay, so the fourth way to get the most out of your marketing automation investment is to make sure that you don't blame the tech. When we don't reach our expected levels of success, we often look for someone or something to blame, and oftentimes our technology takes the brunt of this. So Stephen, why is it important to not blame the tech for your marketing automation issues?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's important because the technology most of the time isn't to blame. A lot of the time it's human error, or a combination of a human using the technology in a wrong way, or the technology maybe not being set up properly. But most of the time, the technology isn't to blame. If you're in a situation like this and you're not finding that your technology is working for it, one of the first things we try to encourage people to do is assess whether your team has the knowledge to use that tool effectively. If not, so one of the best things you can do is to invest in training to get your team back on track. Your training options can include things like talking to experts like MasterSolve, where we can put on customized training programs for your customers, or simply find some YouTube videos to do it yourself. Put these in front of your team and say, hey, check out this great little overview of how to make a campaign with the solutions you're using. You'd be surprised to see how often there's things at your fingertips to make your job easier.
Great. So the final way to maximize your marketing automation investment is to follow the 3 A's, and that's adopt, adapt, and achieve. Stephen, can you explain these 3 A's?
Yes, absolutely. So adopt, make sure your platform is being used to its fullest potential. Get training for your team, talk to experts about best practices, and do what you can to get people to use your solution. Adapt your team and the tools to simplify your business processes. Use technology to enhance your team's abilities, allowing them to do more with the solutions. A big thing we see in this area is artificial intelligence, using chatbots to answer quick questions that people usually have when they're starting a sales cycle. That can use technology to leverage that and free up time for your staff to be able to get that information then sent to them, and they can make actionable things with it. And the last thing is to achieve. Always set goals. Use your CRM and your marketing automation tools to track the success of your campaigns, find the best ones, and then start that process over and over again. And those are the 3 A's.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you for going through those with us, Stephen. Marketing automation isn't as complex as it seems. With the proper implementation and execution, you can look forward to sustainable success and a great ROI. If you're just starting out and you are struggling, don't give up. Stick it through for a few months and invest in some training for your staff. The right implementation and execution makes all the difference. So if you feel like your marketing automation strategy could use some improvement, MasterSolve can help. So we are offering a complimentary marketing automation health check to all attendees of this session. The health check includes just a 30-minute online assessment of your marketing automation programs, so some suggestions on areas of improvement, complete with a recommendation checklist. We will also be following up with the attendees with a recording of this presentation. And that's all for the presentation. Thanks for listening.